I feel like we think too much about an intro.
Sometimes we just go into it though.
And I guess this will be that. And now we're here.
Hey everyone.
It's episode 40.
Whoa, that's a big number.
We've been doing this for 42 weeks, off and on.
You do like to point out that we missed 2 of those weeks because of vacation.
But I'm just keeping track.
That's good.
That's just how I be.
That's good.
One thing I realized, I re-listened to the Yellow Killer Bee interview a little bit, and when I'm doing the like resume part where I'm making the hypothetical person that's sitting behind the desk or at the pong table or whatever.
The pong table, that's right.
Whatever thing that we throw out as the concept, as the idea, I get like really close to my mic and I start yelling. And
I mean, when I listened back to the audio and I was editing it together, it seemed fine to me.
Yeah, I was listening to it and I did not like it. It was just like crackly, and I was like, man.
Oh, was it?
I get too excited. I get way too excited during that moment.
It's exciting though. I think every time we do that segment with a new guest, also apologies, I think there's a lawnmower going on that might be picking up, but hopefully it's not. But holy crap, that's loud. This is a good start. Every time we do that segment, we always extrapolate more on what the situation is leading up to it.
Yeah, it's improvised.
I like it. Yeah, we always add a new thing. Like we added in it's a marble table, marble floors. Apparently,
I wanted it to be marble floors, and then you made it a pong table, a marble pong table.
Yeah, you could have a marble floor and a pong table. Well, like
can you have a marble pong table?
Arcade table.
Is pong
with pong in it?
Okay, whatever. Anyway,
ooh.
There was another thing we mentioned during the last podcast, which was Reboot, or I mentioned Reboot. You didn't mention Reboot.
This is all you.
This is all me. And I as you pointed out, I didn't know we had a little bit of support of Reboot in the comments.
Well, you responded to a comment.
I responded to 1. I didn't know there were 3.
There are 3. That's a lot.
3 is so many. It's mind blowing. You know.
That is a good majority of comments.
Yeah, and I was inspired by Hayes' comment, reiterating the words from the protagonist that are said over like the title crawl, and it like if you look at back at the comment, whatever it just says, what is it? I can't remember it from memory right now, but
it's really epic.
But it is epic once you see the episode, like the show, because it just you know it off by heart as it's on, and when you're a kid watching that show, it's so good. And that comment was just like inspired me to just search for Reboot. I was just like, hey, I want to see like the opening title crawl. That's all I wanted, and I searched I searched for Reboot on YouTube, and it came up like the second result was a playlist of the entire epilogue, or like not the entire epilogue.
Oh, just the epilogue?
No, the entire ending of the show. No, the entire set of episodes, just like the entire series on YouTube in HD. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'm doing this. And
dude,
I just
YouTube is all you need. I don't even have Netflix. All I have is like a free version of Hulu I never used. YouTube's all you need, dude.
Well, the problem with YouTube is most of the time it's illegal. And
right, but is it really illegal if you're not the one doing the uploading? You just sort of catch wind of it by happenstance?
Yeah, you just watch it. And
you're just, oh, well, I'm sorry this illegal content's here, but if it's here, fuck it, right?
Dude, I did that a few years ago with Sailor Moon as well, which sounds kind of odd, but like I don't know, you grow up with 3 older sisters, you're going to watch some Sailor Moon, and when you're looking for nostalgia things to like feed on some nostalgia of some sort, you're like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to look for Sailor Moon, and then you watch 80 episodes. But this was like 6 years ago. 7 years ago. I don't even know how long it was ago.
You know what's weird is that I still don't watch anime for the record, but I can like respect anime a lot more than I ever have at any point previously in my life. Yeah. For some reason as a kid, I would just like never watch Toonami, which was like the segment in Cartoon Network with like more of the anime-ish shows and such. Mm-hmm. For some reason I would just never get into that stuff, and maybe I was like too little brains to appreciate it.
I see.
Yeah.
I've never, until being in the speedrunning community and the internet community as a whole, I never thought of anime as like anime, really. You know, like some maybe in high school a little bit there was like the anime kids or whatever, but it wasn't really. As a kid, they were just other cartoons.
To me, that distinction was always there, but it wasn't as like clear in the sand as it is now.
Yeah,
but you could still tell it's like, oh, this is more of that genre versus Ed, Ed and Eddie I'm used to.
Like when I was watching 4Kids on Fox television when I was.
I remember 4Kids.
Like, how old was I? Like 10, 12? I don't even, like, I don't know, young. I remember watching that and watching, like, Shaman King and then Sonic X. Like, what was the difference?
Sonic X, oh my god, yeah.
Faster. That's the only thing I remember from that show.
I've seen just, like, 4 random episodes of that show, and I don't even know what I thought of it, but, yeah.
And the Kirby show existed?
That's right.
Does anybody remember the Kirby show?
I remember the intro. That's about it.
I remember like if I rewatched the only nostalgia I would get from a Sonic X episode is the Faster song.
Faster.
That's the only thing I would get. And same with Shaman King. Like I don't remember any story arcs whatsoever in those, but like I started this off Reboot. I've been rewatching Reboot, and I remember a shit ton from Reboot, because I'm 17 episodes in because I went on a fucking marathon today. Because
that's why you didn't stream for once today. You were on like a pretty big streaming streak.
Saturdays are tough to do. I just sat and watched the dog today, so I just turned on I turned on my phone and propped it up against a cardboard box and just watched it sitting at my kitchen counter and
nice.
Watched an insane amount. Like they're 20-minute episodes, but still, I went through like 13 episodes today, so that's pretty not healthy. That's a healthy amount, I guess. But yeah, Reboot's sick. I think everybody should watch Reboot.
A healthy amount of a non-healthy way to watch a show.
Yeah, well, I was doing push-ups the whole time, obviously. Ugh.
There you go. Now you're good to go.
I was
Speaking of push-ups, that reminds me, dude. I did legs at the gym for the first time in like 4 months on Tuesday.
Yeah.
See, we're recording this on Saturday, so that was a few days ago. Yeah. You know, Tuesday versus Saturday.
You're feeling it?
But man, dude, going downstairs, my legs are still killing me. And like I went hella easy. Like I'm way more out of shape than I thought I would be after 4 months of not doing anything. And man, like even after I went pretty easy too. I like pretty light workout. Just like some squats and leg extensions, maybe something else. And my legs are still burning up. So that's the fun of going to the gym after not doing it for a long time.
That was always my My weakness in working out was always the first day back after not working out for a while. Like
dude.
I would literally always puke because I would just go way too hard.
I learned my lesson from like the previous times I've come back from a long break. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go easy. My legs aren't going to be burning for a whole week. And they're still burning up. It's a good thing, but it's just you got to go through it. So
yeah, you just have to have like 3 to 5 shitty workouts, and then you're just like, okay, now I'm back in the rhythm. And
yeah, and dude, I had to lower the weight so much more than I thought I would have to. It's really depressing, but
yeah, it like when you go back, you want to do the exact same. Like if I went back to the gym right now, I would want to try to do like I'm not even gonna say fucking numbers of weights, but like I would like to try to do. Pardon me.
You even lift, bro? No, you definitely lift more than me.
I would like to try like heavier stuff, but then I would end up puking. Like literally every time I go back to the gym, I'm just like, I did it too hard, and now like I've literally been like, I need to leave and like stumble out of the gym door and into the hot sun and like drive halfway home, and I've gone into a parking lot of just what was it? It was not an abandoned parking lot. It was just like an unused, like freshly built building that didn't have any stores in it yet. And I just like got out of the car and just puked. And I was just like, well, now I feel a lot better.
I don't think I've ever puked from a workout, but I came awfully close one time. Dude, and I didn't want to experience that again, so I went easy. And I felt fine from the workout, but then my legs are killing me. So that's how that is. And also, Sorry, one more thing. The reason I'm going to the gym again, I know in some places that's still a no-no, but where I am, there's like almost, it's a really small town in Kansas, so I'm not really too worried about it. And most things are open now, and as long as you're wiping down stuff that you use and use hand sanitizer, it's pretty safe. So
yeah. Well, back on like
back on puking or whatever.
Yeah, but back on that. Like eventually you just cross a line. Like you were fine the last set you did, and then you do 10 more reps of another thing, and you're just like, now I've crossed the line, and now it's bad.
Oh yeah, there's like that feeling of like, okay, one more set. I know I can do one more set, and that's the one that kills you.
Yeah, and then you're just either dead or you're sick, and like you have to treat you have to puss out. You literally just have to treat it super sensitively for like 3 workouts at least, and then go back to it. Anyway, that's our little workout segment. Everybody should watch Reboot. Reboot's sick.
Also, everyone should if your gyms are open, I highly consider, even if you don't want to get jacked or into like super good shape, I recommend the gym to anyone, because just for me personally, and I'm sure this is like a natural human biological thing that happens, but it just puts me in a much better mood. Like the last 3 or 4 times I went to the gym, I just did not want to go at all, because I knew it's like, oh, it's going to suck. I'm going to be so weak compared to what I used to be. It's going to just be like an hour of torture. But it like gets me just in a much better mindset after I'm done with it, that it's like, I never regret going, but I hate having to go like every single time. So
yeah, I can get behind that.
So if you're feeling down, just, hit up the old pull-up bar or whatever the fuck.
or you could just, like, for now, if your gyms are closed, my gyms are closed.
Do some push-ups.
I just do push-ups and squats and shit.
Yeah, those are always good.
Yeah. I've been, I don't know, I'll talk about gym. I've been going to the gym, like, I'm 28 now, freshly 28.
Oh, happy birthday, by the way. Your birthday was yesterday from this recording.
Yeah. Happy birthday to me. My dad called me today and was just like, hey, I've just figured out what day it was. It's the day after your birthday. And I was like, thanks, man.
I remembered, sort of.
That was kind of it. I saw a text from my cousin, whose name is Dan, and I thought it was Dad, and I was like, "Oh, he's texting me." I was just like, "Nope, it's my cousin Dan."
Shout out to Dan.
I thought that was funny, but then he called me. But anyway, I've been going to the gym since I was like 14, off and on. But like I used to. Dude, going. I was talking about the gym earlier this week, and going with a buddy is like super important, I feel.
Oh, is it? Because I think I've literally never done that in my whole life.
Yeah, dude, it adds so much more motivation for yourself. Like, it's like doing this podcast, Like, if I was doing a solo podcast, you know how many weeks I would have probably missed?
0, or missed all of them.
Yeah, I would have missed every podcast. I wouldn't have recorded. Well, like, if we started the podcast, theoretically, not us, but like if I started a podcast on my own that I put out and people theoretically, I would, like, it's like streaming for me. Like, I can just skip a day. But
dude, is it even possible to do a solo podcast?
I don't know. Like,
how would that even work? That's like doing an audiobook.
I feel like those exist. But
I've never seen one, or I don't watch them anyway.
Well, in the theoretical world where it's possible to do a solo podcast, you like Twitch streaming. Like, there have definitely been months where I'm just like, yeah, now fuck it.
I feel like a solo podcast is just a stream.
Yeah. Well,
right?
But you don't have anything to see. When you're streaming a video game, I can just sit there and like go like, oh yeah, I'm just playing Super Mario.
Well, I mean,
Sunshine
it doesn't
Fest.
have to be a video game. There's IRL streams too.
Oh yeah. Well, then you're
so
talking
that's
to a
kind of
chat.
like a podcast with a video element.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
No. You know what? The idea of a solo podcast, flawed. You're right.
Total
flawed. Hey Sid, I figured out a flaw in your idea.
It
but yeah,
sucks
like
dick.
I would have definitely skipped at least a few. I don't know how many. We're at episode 40 now. I don't know how many I would have skipped. But like going to the gym, I've skipped so many days because I didn't have a buddy. But when I was a kid, like when I was 14 to 17, I had the same gym buddy every single time. And I'm assuming he's still a gym rat, but we're not close anymore. But we used to go all the fucking time. And like my cousin's a firefighter, and I used to go with him a lot. Funny story about him before he became a firefighter. So one of the trials, I don't know very many like intricacies about becoming a firefighter, but one of the tests to either become a firefighter or like enter firefighter school, I don't remember, was to go down 3 flights or 3 stories with a 200-pound bag on your back. And at around that point, I am heavier now, but around that point I was 200 pounds. And it was very interesting. Our gym used to have like a running track on the top where it's just like there's the weights, and then there's the yoga area, or just like the wooden paneled floor that you could do pretty much anything. There was punching bags in the corner. And then on top there was just a track that went around the room. And
yeah, we had that too.
And he a couple times, in order to practice this 200-pound thing, because the 200-pound thing was going to be like a sack. It was just going to be a bag of like sand or something. Like,
so it's supposed to emulate carrying a person out of a building with a fire in it?
Yeah. So instead of using a bag of sand, he used me. And he would just, a few times, not a lot, not like for a long time at a time or anything like that, but he would, like, my hands would be across my chest, and he would just drag me around.
Yeah.
And this is me, like, probably the biggest guy in the gym, like, height-wise. Like, I'm 6'3", at that point, I don't know, 18, 200 pounds. And he's just this definitely a shorter guy than me, just dragging me around on our running track above our gym. And just like, I remember looking down being like, yeah, people think it's weird. Because I wasn't doing anything.
Workout, though. They can't deny it.
Yeah, it was just, I was just sitting there, just whatever. Like, it wasn't even painful. I just remember him like dragging me around and my feet dragging on the floor. Maybe there was something more to it, but I can't remember. It was a decade ago.
He was dragging you. I was assuming he was like carrying you.
No, I wasn't on his back.
Okay.
He was dragging me by like he had his hand. Well, did he have his arms around my chest? I don't even know. Like he was just. I was just limp, and he would just drag. But it helped him practice, and he ended up getting a job as a firefighter. I don't know. He's out there.
Man, those firefighters are ripped, bruh.
Yeah, they require. They're testing like their O2. I wouldn't know anything about it. Like the last time I talked to him about it was probably like 7 years ago. But they have to like be able to run very well. Their lungs have to be very strong, and they have to be able to carry very heavy things for a long amount of time.
Not to get political, but much more intensive than police training, I bet.
Oh, for sure. I don't.
Anyway,
for sure. What was I saying? But yeah, like, I don't know, since then I've been going to the gym with people, and it's so much better with other people. Like when I don't think, I'm not the type of person, and there's probably a lot of people that are listening to this podcast that would go to a gym, and you wouldn't ask for a spot. Like asking for a spot for a stranger to spot you is.
That takes some balls. You gotta trust them with your life.
Like, I'm very complimented. I don't even know if it's complimented. It's just like, I'm surprised, I guess, whenever I'm at a gym and somebody's just like, oh, can you spot me? Like, I'm just like, I'm going to be the best fucking spot you've ever had in your life. And, I haven't been in a while because it's been all shut down, but I don't know. It's nice.
Yeah, I do gym stuff like purely solo effort. I do pretty much like any compound movement except for bench press because it requires a spot. I only stick to dumbbell chest press stuff.
I remember one time when I was when I was younger. I was one of those dumb kids at one point that tried to solo a bench press with like as much weight as I could do, and I just had it on my chest. and I did maybe like 3 reps or 4 reps or something. Maybe it was 9. I don't know how many reps it was. But like the last rep, I put it down and then I just couldn't get it up. And you know what? I sat there. I didn't say anything. I was not gonna let everybody know. But you know what? Somebody fucking looked over and went, "Oh, I'm gonna go help this guy." And then he helped me out. And I'm just like, "Thank you very much."
in that situation, if no one's there, what do you do? Just like tilt it to the side or what?
Yeah, tilt it to the side. And
that is terrifying. I think that's like one of my low key fears. I think I'm scared of doing bench press.
You can't like. I've heard of people like rolling it up their body. You can't put it on your neck. So don't do that.
I'm just terrified of like my arm giving out and me just dying right there.
Yeah, that's why you
never know.
You gotta have a buddy. Have a buddy or like go light. Going light feels bad, but you gotta go light.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, I hear that dumbbells are about as effective in a certain way.
Yeah, I don't know. They're less cool.
Yeah, I know. Like you can't do as much weight, but they actually they require more like coordination and like balance of the muscles and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So there's some benefits. Obviously, it's best to do both of them, but again, I'm not trying to get like super jacked or anything. I just go to work out. So
I used to be trying to get super jacked. I haven't.
Yeah, we've all been there. And then we're like, damn, it takes a lot of work. Fuck that. I like eating shitty food too much.
Oh, yeah.
If getting jacked requires giving up my Taco Bell, fuck that. By the way, Taco Bell, what the hell are you doing? Do you hear about this?
The potato? Is the potato thing?
The potato thing, first of all, Taco Bell supposedly is rumored to be removing like 7 of their key items in the next month. We're talking, first of all, the biggest offender, the quesarito. Dude, let me tell you, I cannot remember the last time I've been to Taco Bell and haven't gotten a quesarito with my order. I live for the quesarito. It's the perfect combination of arrangement of the same ingredients.
Yeah.
But with that gone, man, that's gonna suck for me. And yeah, any potato-related ingredients, the 7-layer burrito and some other stuff. Mainly the quesarito I'm kind of sad about, but it is what it is, I guess.
I love our dynamic on our podcast. Like sometimes we could talk about the gym for 20 minutes, but like I start out talking about Reboot and you're just like, yeah, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And then you talk about Taco Bell, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what the hell. I've had Taco Bell once.
So basically Taco Bell is a taco place where you get tacos and burritos.
Well, I know what Taco Bell is. Just like you know that Reboot is like a show for kids from the 90s, you know?
Yeah, I can picture sort of what it is.
Reboot was a show for kids before shows were for kids. So it wasn't it's like rewatching it now, there are things I don't know, it's not there are themes in it that aren't like directly kid related. Like it's not like Steven Universe or whatever those fucking kid shows are. You know, it's not just everything for kids.
Reboot was a show for kids before for kids.
For sure that, true. That's also true. But yeah, like Taco Bell, I think I've had Taco Bell once in my life. And
I get it quite a bit. I feel like it's not like that unhealthy. Like sure the meat's kind of fake and stuff, but think about it. It's cheese, lettuce, beef, sour cream. Like it's good for you, man.
Yeah, it sounds fine.
Healthy.
I've always thought of like what is Taco Bell meant to everybody? It's just like it's the cheapest thing, but it's actually really good.
It's cheap. It's got a high cheap to good ratio.
Yeah,
going for it.
And
yeah, they're also removing the beefy Fritos burrito, which I never get personally, but that was like the iconic best ratio of cheapness to goodness item because it was like a whole ass burrito for just $1 essentially.
Are they just like scaling it up? Are they removing all their low cost?
I think the idea is that they're just trying to refine their menu to a point where they can like get orders done faster than before.
Yeah.
Like they're removing, I think also their tostadas, which is kind of a weird item. So like removing some weird stuff like quesarito, maybe it'll speed up their process, but I think they're already fast enough as they are, or at least mine is. So I don't know what the end goal is, but yeah.
I would be See, I'm a really horrible fast food conversation guy. Because
then we can move away from this if you want.
No, like whatever. But Like,
I'm just really passionate about my Taco Bell. Okay.
This is my tally. All right, we'll go through my tally. I've had McDonald's twice.
I just had McDonald's today, by the way.
I've had McDonald's twice in my life. I remember my I don't know. Lately, I've been because I've been streaming all week and trying to like just have a conversational stream and stuff. I've been just freewheeling through everything. Now I'm remembering like I remember after my now ex, obviously, like from high school, her brother buying me McDonald's after driving me home from her house like 11 years ago. That was one of my McDonald's trips. It was really awkward. It was a really awkward trip. He did not like me. And I remember he didn't buy it for me. I was just like, "Oh, hey, I would like some too." And then he ordered it and he was just like, "Do you have money?" And I'm like, "Fuck. Okay, I'll give you money." I was just hoping that I'd bank off because he was I don't know how old was he? It was like 26 probably at the time. Anyway.
Yeah, come on, he can pay for your McDonald's.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
What a cheapskate.
That's what I was thinking as a 17-year-old, 16-year-old kid. Buy my McDonald's, bro. But yeah, that was my one of two. And then Taco Bell I've had once. Dude, Subway and Wendy's are my my choice.
There was a week where I went to Subway almost every day just because I had a gift card, but I haven't gone since.
Dude, my old job, there was a Subway right beside my work. And I would be at the office every other day, and I would buy Subway every other or at least twice a week for 4 years.
Subway's kind of hit and miss for me. Like sometimes it's amazing, and sometimes they just totally put on the wrong stuff.
See,
like
what do you
the wrong
order?
Amounts of stuff.
What do you order?
I think I get something different every time, but usually it's just. Actually, I like their the Black Forest ham, provolone cheese. And then just whatever the fuck toppings I feel like.
I feel like the meta for Subway is you got to find your thing fast and then just keep eating that. And
yeah, possibly. I think maybe I experiment too much.
The first time I went to Subway, I don't know when it was, but I remember seeing a pizza sub as an order, and I was just like, "Fuck yeah!" And I ordered that.
Why doesn't that sound good to me?
You know what? It's you know what? It's not pizza. But it's like salami with marinara on it.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And then you could just top it with whatever. It's not like I'm not gonna put lettuce, tomato. What else do I put on it? Onion.
Oh, right. But
like I'm not gonna put all that shit on my
still
pizza.
Sounds gross for some reason.
Like I feel like my sister always did it wrong, where she would get a meatball sub and not put anything on it. I'm just like,
the meatball sub. That's like a bait.
It's the most boring. She wouldn't even put cheese on it. And I was just like,
what the hell? You gotta have at least cheese on there.
But she always ordered it.
That's just meatballs, sauce, and bread.
Her thing was a meatball sub with nothing else on it on Italian loaf, and I'm just sitting there going like,
that's not how you do it.
What a waste! What a waste this is.
But all I know is that if you're getting a cold cut, gotta have mayo on it.
I am not a mayo fan.
I'm a huge mayo fan. Dude, mayo on burgers, dude.
See, well, somebody in my stream this week was saying like mayo is greater than ketchup.
I agree. I think that even like Ludwig, big streamer Ludwig said this. Mayo is more important on a burger than ketchup.
No,
I agree.
No, dude.
Like it's good to have both of them, but like the mayo really makes it.
Mayo's the Dr. Pepper of condiments.
That's actually a really, really good metaphor. Simile.
Because Wait,
that is a metaphor. Fuck.
It's a metaphor. Good job.
Yeah, there's no like or as.
We like using accurate words on this show. Welcome, Video Games Are Hard. Welcome to the game 2.
Welcome to the game 2. Yeah,
that's our podcast.
That's a good game.
But yeah, Dr. Pepper, you either love it or hate it. I don't know.
Well, that's not really true. Dr. Pepper, I think it's like pretty dang good. I don't like love it, but I'll drink it.
I hate it.
Because I think I prefer regular Coke, but Dr. Pepper's pretty close for me.
Like Dr. Pepper has to, if you love it, it just hits your taste buds right. Like it's a delicate balance Dr. Pepper strikes, where it's just like if it goes a little bit too far for your taste buds, it's just like this is the worst thing on the planet. And then if it's perfect, it's like, oh, this is good.
I never understood why that was such a polarizing soda. It was always fine to me.
I hate it to its very core. But like Mayo to me is a very similar thing.
Okay, that's fair.
Where I hate it. And,
See, I understand why Mayo is polarizing.
Yeah. And I'm a ketchup guy. I'm more of a ketchup with pepper nowadays. I put pepper in my ketchup because I'm a weirdo now, but it tastes better. I don't know why. What else? What were we talking about? Sub. We're talking about Subway.
Food.
So I saw a pizza sub. I was just like, pizza sub. I don't know how old I was. I was probably like 13. I was just like, pizza sub sounds amazing. Oh, and I have not gotten anything different at a Subway ever, because like pizza sub on Italian urban cheese with I don't know, all the shit. Sometimes I put spinach on it to be a good boy, but like lettuce, spinach. I just fill it all up with shit, and then it's just like, oh, it tastes good. Whatever. There are a lot of Subway haters out there, and I'm a big Subway supporter.
Yeah, Subway. There's so many of them. There's actually more Subways than there are McDonald's locations. You know that?
I did not know that.
It's true, and I think because there's so many, there's a very high likelihood that a few of the bad apples are in your area, which could sway other people's opinions. Because see, I'm a big believer, and actually, it's like not even like a belief; it's like a fact, essentially.
My
regionality, like regionality, matters more than like the actual places themselves. Because I've said this like a million times before whenever on the podcast, but Domino's Pizza.
Yeah.
For some reason, Domino's Pizza is like really friggin' good in Kansas, but probably the worst pizza I've ever had in California.
Yeah.
And it's the same place. It's still Domino's, but it's like totally different depending on where you are. I don't get it.
Well, see, I don't think there's a lot of like bad apples of Subway in my area or anything like that. It's mostly hate online, and it's mostly hate for being boring, I feel.
I mean, yeah, it's just sandwiches, but like sometimes you don't gotta be exciting. Sometimes you just want a sandwich.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna get a cold. Well, yeah, you're fucking ordering cold cuts on Italian. Like, what do you? It's just like, oh, it's bad. It's just like, what do you order something good? That's your fault.
It's not bad. It's just not a filet mignon that you want.
Yeah, I don't know. Order a pizza sub on Italian urban cheese after the COVID.
Regular ass pizza. If that's what you want. Jeez.
When everybody's Subway opens again, even though mine are open, but they're only takeout and whatever.
I think that actually even here. Actually, I don't know.
I don't even want to go in them. I'm just like, I have food at home.
Yeah, it's like if I can avoid going in, then why would I do that?
Like sometimes I'll order a pizza, but other than that, I'm just like, it's not worth it to just go in and get one meal, you know?
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Any more fast food thoughts?
Do I have any more fast food thoughts? I've never had KFC.
You're not missing anything. KFC was the bomb in the mid-00s, and now they suck. That's all I got.
Dude, I think I'm pretty sure my dad lately has been eating a lot of KFC, and he really likes it.
It's just so inferior to Popeyes. By the way, I think Popeyes is my favorite fast food. Anyone listening?
I don't think... I feel like Popeyes either doesn't exist or is new to Canada.
Is it in Canada?
It's either it doesn't... It definitely hasn't been, but I think it recently started being in Canada.
That makes sense. It started in Louisiana, and I think it's been branching out ever since. It's a pretty popular place now.
Yeah, it's not... I've never seen one here, but I think I did like a little bit of research like last year. It's just like, oh, we opened one in, I don't know, Etobicoke or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Etobicoke.
Oh, that's a suburb of Toronto.
And the Popeyes in particular in my college town that opened up like my third or fourth year I was at that college is my favorite of the Popeyes I've been to, and I'm kind of sad I don't have it in my proximity anymore.
See, I don't know. You're talking about the regionality and stuff. I don't.
It makes a difference, trust me.
But like for Subway, it doesn't, and for Wendy's, it really. I don't know if I've had very many Wendy's other than from the one Wendy's that I order from. So
how can you confidently say Subway it doesn't?
Because I've had from like every Subway in my, like I've been to I don't know, within Toronto area subways, I've been to a shit ton of them, and they all taste very similar to me. At least the one sandwich that I get.
All right. Well, maybe.
But that's literally just a sandwich place. So like,
okay,
I would
this is
understand.
just a theory, a game theory. All right. Don't.
Yeah,
it's not a fact.
A video games are hard theory.
Video games are hard theory coming
Where we talk
about fast food. That's not even a video game.
We just talk about fast food, but but yeah, I don't know. It's just like literally, how narrow of a scope do you want? It's like Subway, the specific sandwiches, not even the Wendy's. Like, I don't know. That's
okay. Sometimes I just think about the Gus Johnson video where he points out how every time you get jalapenos, there's always at least like one stem in there. So I think it's not so much regionality with Subway. Maybe it's what you order.
I've been very lucky. Well, obviously not lucky. I've never ordered jalapeno anything from Subway.
Then maybe that's why you love it so much. They don't give you those stems.
I remember the big hullabaloo. We're going to use the word hullabaloo. That's the dapper word of the day.
That's a good word of the day because even I know what that means.
The hullabaloo around the... What was the big drama? It was that the Subway sandwiches had one ingredient that was the same as in yoga mats.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah,
that was years ago, and I remember a lot of people just like hating them. I'm just like, I don't know, they taste good. It's like one fucking. I don't even. You wouldn't even know what the ingredient is.
Why does it matter if it's also in yoga mats? What's wrong about yoga mats?
People don't like eating yoga mats, Trey. They're insane.
No, it's an ingredient. It's not literally yoga mats in your food.
it's like saying what is it? 75% of the human body is watermelon.
Is water.
Or what do they say? It's like because 98% of a watermelon is water, and then 75% of a human is water. So I don't know. Most of both a watermelon and a human are both water. So we're basically the same thing. You know,
yeah.
That's the argument.
See, just because something's an ingredient in a non-food item, I don't see why that matters.
There was a big hullabaloo around that, and people. I had stopped eating Subway at that point. I was just like, I don't really care at this point. But
well, what was the ingredient that would have been that?
I don't like. I remember seeing it typed
like the chicken.
Like it wasn't the chicken.
The chicken has the same ingredients as in yoga mats.
It was like it wasn't even words. It was just kind of like. I don't know. It's like highly technical babble of some sort. I don't remember what the specific ingredient was, but it wasn't like it wasn't like the wheat. You know, it wasn't like the wheat.
The
wasn't,
sugar.
Yeah, just like they put
the same sugar used in yoga mats. Dextrose 47 or something.
Imagine there's this big drama around the same ingredient as a yoga mat, and it's just like a regular like food. Yeah. It's just like. Yeah, the yoga mat is using food. It's not our fault.
Yeah, the yoga mats are delicious. What's the problem?
Yeah, what the hell? Why are you guys hating on us for this? I don't know.
That's part of why I majored in something in the food industry, and they've covered topics in some of my classes about, or not even in classes, I guess more of like an internship. Actually, the internship where I baked cookies all summer specifically.
Nice.
At that one, a big part of their branding and whatnot was being clean label. So to put it into like the most laymanest terms possible, it's just taking out any ingredient that sounds like a weird, confusing thing and making it like a more pleasing sounding ingredient in there, or like more natural sounding ingredient.
Yeah.
Even if it's not even necessarily like a better thing for you, if it just sounds like, oh yeah, that's a more natural thing than like polydextrose, whatever the fuck, you know? It's like, yeah.
Exactly.
So stuff like that.
That was their big drama around the bread. And I don't know. I just remember that. I remember there was.
Oh, it was in the bread.
It was the sandwich. It was the.
Okay, I was asking what thing it was in there.
Oh,
or what?
It was in the bread. It was an ingredient in the bread.
Gotcha.
That was. It's just like, oh, it's the same as yoga mats, and everybody's just like, I'm eating yoga mats, and then it was just like, well, now Subways are still alive. It's not like they've all. It
sounds
been
like more
down.
of a meme than an actual issue.
I remember it like on the news. Maybe
I remember
like,
it too. Funnily enough,
maybe it was long enough ago that memes weren't as powerful as they are now.
It would have been a meme on Twitter if it was now.
Dude, like What's funny about? All right, I'm gonna go back to Reboot. All right,
Go for it. Let's reboot the reboot discussion.
Okay, Reboot is a television show. Like the perspective is inside a computer. All right, this is in the 90s, right?
Computers were weird in the 90s.
Well, it's also a show with like characters that live inside of a computer, and the world building is dope. But it's really interesting, like because it's not meme centric at all, but it kind of, there are some episodes that somewhat accurately represent what meme culture kind of becomes. Like,
whoa, it's just like SpongeBob.
Well, yeah, but it's Canadian, so it didn't take off as well. But I don't know. There was like a talent show episode at like episode 11, and when I say like episode 11, it was literally episode 11.
Classic thing that you do.
And there's just like all the acts are just, there's a Rocket Man spoof of William Shatner singing Rocket Man, you know that, where
yes,
like it's just one of the I can't remember what one of the character, not one of the main characters, but like one of the essentially background characters sings or just like speaks Rocket Man as William Shatner on stage, and then just kind of disappears at the end. It's just like, okay, what the fuck was that? And then they go on to the next thing. There's a lot of like just joke, like they're not even jokes. They're just kind of like, fuck it. We're new to 3D animation and we're just fucking around. And and it's like early 90s, and it's really well done. But if you look at it now, I don't know what a kid that was born in 2004 looking at Reboot would say in response to it. Just like, oh, it looks like shit. It doesn't look like shit. It looks really good. And but maybe I feel like I have my nostalgia goggles on for it, like a little bit, but at the same time, I'm like, I still feel like it looks good. I can look at, I don't know, like new shows, I can see that they look good, but when I look at this 90s show, I'm like, it definitely doesn't look bad. Like it looks, sure, kind of janky in some, like when characters move in certain ways, but then also it's the perspective of inside of a computer. So you're just like, I don't know, it looks realistic for what they're going for.
In a lot of cases, actually, there was more work put into animation in older shows than new shows.
Oh yeah.
Like there's so many new shows that have sort of the Family Guy syndrome.
Yeah.
Where it's just sort of like the cut and paste, simple shaped characters and like sort of simple animation. But back in the day, they tended to experiment more just because they weren't as like financially trying to like really pump out these things, I guess.
Yeah, but this one also isn't a cartoon. It's like 3D animated, and like
right. I didn't even know it was 3D until now, so that's good to know. There was one camera shot in one of the episodes where they literally couldn't do it in any other format, where it's just the camera shot, I guess, in quotes. There's no actual. It's just they make the whole environment, but they just like it's 3D characters in a 3D environment. And they just kind of like operate within it and can do whatever the hell they want. So what you're saying is Reboot is the precursor to Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, I guess. Well, yeah, it's more. Yeah, Jimmy Neutron. I guess. Yeah.
3D. Yeah. No.
Yeah, I guess it's 3D. Right.
There you go. I proved my point. I rest my case.
I was never a Jimmy Neutron fan. I watched it like a little bit.
I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I thought it was a pretty good show.
I always caught like the first episode. I just always caught the same episodes, and I never ended up watching. There
really weren't that many episodes, but there were like a few of the hour-long specials that were pretty good. Mm-hmm. There's one in particular where they ended up on this alien game show thing.
I don't know.
That episode, it was like an hour-long thing. I thought it was like the dopest thing ever. I remember like specific screenshots from it, but I couldn't like piece together what the episode actually was in my head right now.
I always caught the movie, and
the movie was good.
And like the pants attack one.
That was I think the first episode they made was the when pants attack one.
Yeah, I think that's like I think I caught episode 1 over and over again. And
Dude, they promoted the shit out of that episode. Like the months leading up to the promotion, I swear every single commercial break it was like when pants attack. Oh my god, Jimmy Neutron, not just a movie anymore.
what a boring episode. It's like
honestly, I think that was one of my least favorite episodes where they like promoted it so much.
But like there are episodes that are good. Like
yeah.
Like the characters in that show are it's in Reboot the characters are good, and in Jimmy Neutron the characters are good, and when they like actually I don't know have like a meaningful interaction, it's nice because one of the most memorable moments in Jimmy Neutron is, for me anyway, I didn't.
Are you gonna say the Cindy thing?
It's the Cindy and Jimmy thing where they're just both their brains are uploaded into whatever. Maybe I've talked about it on the podcast before, but like
I think you have, but it's a good moment.
And then they just dump into the same vat. Their brains are in the same vat, or their thoughts or whatever. And then when they come out of it, they're just like, did you think like when their minds were combined, they thought of a wedding? Like they had their even though they hate each other in the show, or it's just like a will they won't they thing, even though they're fucking children, whatever.
Not important.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But like when they're combined, it's just like, oh, they're having a wedding for some reason. It's just like it's this interesting insight that no other show could have with it, with like a CW drama couldn't have that, where it's just like, oh, this baker's a crime solver, you know? Yeah, have you seen any of those? No,
I don't know, dude.
My mom watches a bunch of those, and there's one where there's a person that runs a bakery that solves murders, and there's a librarian. There's a librarian that solves murders, and there's a police officer that works with a very famous chef that solved murders, and
of course.
What is it? There's an ex-police officer, a retired police officer that works with it's like on a private island. It's not a private island. It's just like an island in the middle of nowhere. And he works with the doctor that works on the island, and they solve murders. I don't know. There's just a lot of those shows, and you couldn't have that same. You can have that same like, oh, our brains are in a vat, and we've combined, and now we're having a wedding. Even though our characters hate each other in the show, you couldn't have that in like a CW drama. Mostly, it's just like, oh, will they, won't they? But they probably will.
Yeah, cartoons can really think outside the box.
Well, especially when they're just kind of like, especially when they're outlandish scenarios where it's just like, oh, they take place in a computer, or they take place, he's a boy genius and he makes all this shit, or like the medium in general. I mean, like cartoons or 3D animation can do more than like we pay these actors and these extras to do such and such things. We can't physically fly, you know? We don't have skateboard in Reboot. They have boards where they stand and they just fly in the air
because it was the 90s and that was cool.
It's still cool.
back when rocket power was relevant.
Tony Hawk showed up in Reboot. No,
dude, I wish.
What were one of those shows where all the famous people showed up? I
know Tony Hawk was in Rocket Power.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense. That does make sense.
It does make the most sense for him to show up in any show ever. All they do is skateboard in that show.
What was it back in the day? Fuck. I can't remember the name of the show. The 3-hour tour. What's the show?
I don't know.
God, I can't. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't.
3-hour tour.
Gilligan's Island.
Yeah,
Gilligan's Island. I don't know. Just talking about random. Like I used to watch a little. Like I've watched movies from. I'm not a very good movie buff for like the 60s or 70s or 80s, but like I've watched 30s and 40s movies, like a lot of them, and stuff like that. But back in the day, I used to watch TV Land with my mom, and we watched like I Love Lucy and Gilligan's Island and like old television from eras by like Happy Days. And Gilligan's Island, speaking of Tony Hawk being on Rocket Power, Gilligan's Island always had like the what was one of them? They just had like famous sports stars. Like the whole thing about Gilligan's Island is that they're on an island. They got lost on a 3-hour tour. It's the beginning of the show. It's the title crawl music, just like the 3-hour tour. They went on a 3-hour tour. It was just going to be 3 hours. They lost. There was a storm that happened. They got lost, but it's a sitcom, and they landed on an island, and they have like their cast of characters, and one of them tries to get off the island most of the time, called the professor, and then there's just shit that happens. You know, they just have a sitcom, and somehow, because they were so popular back in the day, they had like the Harlem Globetrotters were on it at some point. For like, how do you write in like famous celebrities to be on your got lost and you're on an island that nobody can identify? Like, how do you write that in? But they did, and they're just all the celebrity guests on this sitcom that was insanely popular, but had no reason to have anybody outside of the main cast be on the show at all.
I feel like the Globetrotters is pretty easy to do. They were even on Scooby-Doo at one point.
But how do you write that into a like
basketball themed episode
of Gilligan's Island?
Yes, of course.
But see, Scooby-Doo, you can do anything. It's just like, I'm gonna have the president.
Scooby-Doo is the perfect show if you think about it.
Cartoons are the easiest.
You can do whatever you want with that.
Yeah, like Velma can be lesbian.
Yep, finally confirmed, because that's important to know, I guess.
I like that, because everybody's response to it is just kind of like, wait, she dated Shaggy. And
wait, was that true?
Yeah, like a lot of people's response is just like, dude, she dates Shaggy in season 1, and then everybody's just like, dude, Shaggy's such a bad boyfriend. I don't know. I read Twitter threads, you know me.
Is this a J.K. Rowling moment from Scooby-Doo creators?
Maybe everybody's. I don't know who cares.
I mean, they're not going so far as to say like Velma's in a wheelchair, but who knows?
I feel like it's at this point everybody's just kind of like, who cares? You know?
I saw that title and I was like, I really couldn't care less.
Yeah, like nobody cares. I looked at it and I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. I just want to see everybody's
care
response.
about the sexuality of Scooby-Doo characters.
Dude, I was just like, literally, I'm gonna bring it back to Reboot again. Watching Reboot, I'm just like, I can't believe anybody cares enough about any character. Like, I like Reboot and stuff, but like, if the creator went and just like, oh, yeah, Dot's bisexual. Like, I like, what the fuck? Like, where does this come from? Dot's one of the characters in the show, but I
gathered.
Like I can't. Like, are there people that care? Like, if the creator
Twitter,
comes out of nowhere and says that shit? Pardon me?
On Twitter, yes. Because, I mean, on Twitter, that's the same people who fall for Bitcoin scams that just happened.
Yeah, I guess.
Did you see that, by the way?
No, I did not see that.
By the time this goes up, it's, like, far in the past. But actually, I happened to be checking Twitter, like, the very hour it was happening, where every single, like, famous verified Twitter account was posting the same, like, oh, send me $1,000 dollars in Bitcoin and I'll send you 2,000 back. I'm feeling generous. And that account actually got like over $200,000, I think.
Holy shit.
But it was clearly like the biggest scam ever. It's like, it was smart to do because they were guaranteed to get some money. But in that position where you can just like hack any account you want, like, why would I'd be so tempted to just like go further than that.
Bitcoin, man.
But yeah, it's all about money. Money is all that matters. Not memes.
It's not that I don't know. I'm not gonna like backwalk any. I didn't make any statement that was just like so outlandish or whatever. But like, I don't know. If you're gonna write an aspect to your character, write an aspect to your character. Don't like go backwalk it later and be like, nah, she was. I don't know. He was fucking.
Yeah, I always sort of cringe at those like backwalking to seem woke when it could have been there in the first place moments.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, we're doing this not because it was always there, but because we'll get brownie points.
But now it's not even like cringe for that sake. It's just kind of like, who cares? Like everybody's so sick of that shit.
Yeah, now even like the people who would appreciate that, I think, are getting tired of it as well.
Yeah.
At least I hope they are.
I still saw responses being like, "Oh yeah, fuck yeah, Velma, we knew it," and I'm just sitting there going like, "Oh, fucking whatever."
Fuck yeah! Now I can watch Scooby-Doo again.
Yeah,
this changes everything.
I think I've seen like maybe as a kid on Teletoon, Canadian probably. I watched some Scooby-Doo like a little bit. Like
I've definitely seen like quite a number of episodes.
Like. I think the version that they were talking about, like what Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Machine, is that what the series is called?
Is there like a new one?
I don't know. I guess maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was still going, but I would have no idea.
I have never watched an episode of that. So it looked the only way I'm going or the only thing I'm going off of is that the picture that they used of Velma in the tweet is Velma's the glasses one, right?
Yes, I believe so.
What's the other one's name?
Fuck, what is her name?
I don't know.
Why can't I think of it?
That's it's Scooby Shaggy,
Scooby-Doo cast.
Fred.
Yeah, Fred.
Velma.
Oh no,
Scrappy
I
at some
Scooby-Doo
point?
cast and I'm getting the movie. No. Oh, it's Daphne.
Daphne. Yeah.
Why can't I think of Daphne?
I don't know.
Like
I
the
see.
name.
The only reason I didn't know is because I don't watch the show. But
I couldn't think of it because I had like a terrible memory, I guess.
Did Freddie Prinze Jr. come up on your search?
As like Fred?
Yeah.
I'm sure he did. I didn't really
I know that. I was just like, okay, what? I know one actor that was in Scooby-Doo as somebody, and I'm like, Freddie Prinze Jr. Yeah, I'm from the '90s.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, the picture they used of Velma seemed way clearer than any episode of any Scooby-Doo I've ever seen. And I was just like, it's got to be like a new show, somewhat. It looks like HD, you know.
Oh, by the way, also Mr. Bean was in the cast of Scooby-Doo as well.
Was he the villain?
Yeah, like the twist villain.
It's like Alan Cumming being the villain in.
No. He wasn't the villain. It was Scrappy was the villain.
Scrappy-Doo?
Yeah, or Scrappy was like behind everything in the end.
Dude, Scrappy-Doo. I don't know. I don't know anything about the show. All I know is that people think Scrappy's annoying, right? I don't know.
Well, Scrappy's annoying, like in the show in general. That's why he was the villain in the first movie for the fuck of it. They're like, yes, he's a perfect villain.
It reminded me of Alan Cumming being the villain in. It's not Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I've never seen that show. I've never seen that episode or that movie. What's that kids show? What's that kids movie? Spy Kids.
I was just thinking of Spy Kids, but I wasn't gonna say it.
Why not?
I don't know. I was like, it's gonna sound stupid.
Would have helped me. But yeah, Alan Cumming, who's like very successful actor, as like a villain in a kids movie, and I'm just like, huh, all right, cool, I guess. Weird place for you to be, but I guess that's fine. Yep. What were we talking about? We were talking about just like random television.
We're just rambling on about random show shit. I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Yeah,
we were talking about like Jimmy Neutron and stuff.
Shows are good. I don't like kids shows nowadays. Obviously, I don't think
I grew up watching shows, mainly just cartoon stuff, but now I just mainly binge YouTube all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of lame. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Well, like I don't know.
I wish I had like a clever comeback for that, but
it's kind of weird. Like watching, I can have Twitch on all day, like in the background and like play Sunshine or something. But when I'm watching YouTube, I feel like YouTube is edited enough when people put enough effort into their things that I have to actually watch it and can't play something in front of it. Like I can't. If there's effort involved, I can't not.
When the video itself
focus.
is more so just for what they're saying versus the visual effects they put into it.
Yeah.
You can sort of like tune out and just listen to it in the background. But there is, of course, quality content. It's like the 80% history of Sunshine video.
Yeah.
where you have to watch that. So
Yeah, but like, see, my point is like I can have Twitch on in the background and just do something, and after hours and hours I can be like, oh, that was fine or whatever. I don't think I don't feel unhealthy. But if I have YouTube on and I'm only focusing on YouTube, after like 2 hours, I'm like, this feels unhealthy, you know?
Oh yeah, dude, I am down that rabbit hole a lot on YouTube. Like the recommended knows me so well. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of why it's kind of refreshing to rewatch. I haven't watched a show that's kind of new to me, even though I haven't watched this show in obviously like probably a decade and a half. And I don't know, shows are nice, especially shows that you can comfortably know that there's eventually something that is paid off. And like knowing a couple of the arcs near the end of Reboot is just like keeping me going. And I'm just like, oh, that was cool. Oh, that was cool. It's interesting to see it all in like a different context.
Indeed.
But I can't really do that with YouTube stuff. I don't know. Everything's so detached. Like I like if I'm watching Cody Ko, he's just watching about what is he talking about? He's talking about like the hip kids, the TikTok kids. I don't know what's going on. What are the TikTok kids? There's a TikTok house?
I am so detached from like TikTok stuff. I think they're like getting banned in America potentially because of weird data collection stuff going on. I don't really know. That's just what I hear.
There's one TikToker that I've been like a fan of. And what was his name? I don't know. I can follow him on Twitter. But I don't have a TikTok or anything. I don't look at TikTok at all. But the only TikToks I watch, and maybe everybody in our audience knows this too, it's just like you look at the top TikToks on Twitter tweeted by somebody that isn't the people that made the TikToks. What was it? There was somebody that had like a fleet of impressions from Star Wars like a few weeks ago, and everything that is somewhat popular nowadays on Twitter gets hundreds of thousands of likes and will make it to my feed. I don't know what. I don't know who I'm following that likes everything, but you know, I follow over 1,000 people. Eventually, there's going to be one person that likes all this shit, and or retweets it even, but mostly probably likes. And there was this guy that tweeted out his fleet of impressions of Star Wars that were like bang on for most of them anyway. And it was a random dude that tweeted it out, not the guy that actually made it, and it just got a shit ton of traction. And he then made a Twitter account and was just like, oh, thanks for the tweet. And he's just new to Twitter now. He was on TikTok first, and now he has 10,000.
Thanks for
10,
the tweet.
What?
Thanks for the tweet.
Well, like he thanked the guy for tweeting out his TikTok.
Why would he thank some guy for stealing his credit?
Well, I don't know. He's well. Like
or did he credit him in the tweet at all?
He didn't have a Twitter.
Right.
TikTok. See. I'm going to explain TikTok, even though I'm not even.
Oh, right.
On TikTok.
So like when the TikTok ends, it shows who was.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Like TikTok has this weirdly efficient way of shouting out everybody that's made it, because at the end of the TikTok it just fades to blue, and then shows their profile
Thanks
picture
for
and their
explaining
app.
that to me. I know.
Well, no, I'm just explaining. See, now there's the description guy in the corner.
Oh,
right?
you're explaining it to the other guy now.
Yeah, and
which is
maybe
audience.
the podcast at large. You know.
All right.
Maybe they're just on Twitch all day. Maybe
I'm sure they know this better than we do, though. So.
Yeah, maybe they're watching Mango at PAX and playing Valorant, and they don't know anything about TikTok. I you know what? I'll try to share my bare minimum TikTok knowledge. And so the guy made his Twitter account, and then he was just like, "Oh shit!" I've never seen this before ever. The guy that tweeted the original TikTok had like a subtweet of that tweet being like, "Oh shit, he just made a Twitter account. You should go follow him."
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Then, yeah, and I've never seen that before in my life. And
usually the people who just try to post stuff to get attention will never promote stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's like the example I brought up the other week of the guy stealing the picture of it was the July 4th one where everybody was sitting around the Declaration of Independence thing. and it's just like, she stole it. And then the tweet ended up being bigger. The like, hey, you stole this ended up being bigger than the original tweet, which is funny. And
yeah, I've seen that a few times.
I've only seen that once. But like most of the time, there's just like a random big big Twitter account that tweets out the really good TikToks, I guess. I feel like TikToks are fine. People hated Vine. I feel like there are good Vines.
No, TikToks are fine. It's just like the website itself is sketchy.
Like maybe a lot of them are lame, but some of them are funny. And yeah. Definitely it's like, I don't know, China's stealing your information
Dude, if
again.
TikTok ever gets banned, it's going to be the same thing as when Vine went down, where it's like people getting weirdly nostalgic about the best TikToks.
Some of those Vines are good though. I like the what's my favorite one? I like the
Road work ahead. That's just the go-to. I don't know.
I like the. Have you seen the one where they're talking about Wizard of Oz? The Wizard of Oz one, you know?
I don't remember. I've probably seen it.
It's like she comes down in a bubble, dog. No?
I've seen so many Vines that I think I instantly forget after I see them.
That's the latest Vine that I've ever. I was never on Vine. Like I'm old enough, I guess I could have been on Vine, but
yeah, I could have been on it too, but I never was.
Yeah, I could have been on it.
It was the same thing when Vine was happening. You would just see the Vines on Twitter.
Yeah.
So it was like, why would I even bother making a Vine?
Or you'll see them on Instagram. Not on Instagram. I don't know. The only one I'm on is Twitter. But yeah, the big Twitter accounts tweet out the TikToks, and then I look at the TikTok and go like, well, I'm not going to follow the big Twitter account. I will see if this. I have followed TikTokers that are now on Twitter, and I don't know. Sometimes they tweet out their TikToks, and I look at it and I'm like, oh, this in and out joke is really funny for me being from Canada, but whatever, you know.
Wait, they have in and out there?
No, I'm just.
Oh, you're saying it's funny for you not relating to it. I see.
Yeah. I don't know. There was a TikTok ranting about how in and out is like a zero-sum game even in California, but it's just like it's pride. It's pride that it's only in California or Western or whatever. I don't even know.
That's one of the things I miss most about being in California for a summer was the In-N-Out.
Do you like In-N-Out?
It's pretty dang good. Like the only problem is that like the fries you have to get with stuff on them, otherwise they're kind of bland.
Okay.
Like you got to get either like the cheese fries or the animal style, because the fries themselves they're not like salted enough. But the burgers are really good. So
I don't know anything about
I'm a fan.
We're back to fast food.
Again, with the fast food, it always comes back to fast food somehow.
Dude, it always comes back to Reboot and fast food.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't really have any. That's the end of my whatever diatribe this is.
Well, I guess I'll just give some updates on what the fuck I'm doing. Cool. I uploaded a video to my YouTube channel of Double Dash actually. For the first time in like a year, because I didn't play Double Dash for about a year. Pretty much like the last time I played it was at SGDQ 2019, which was about a year ago. Mm-hmm. And then I sort of retired. I was like, yeah, I think this game's not really for me. I'm kind of hitting a wall. It's hard to improve. Not really having much fun. But recently, because of the fantasy draft thing, did I talk about this on the podcast yet?
I don't
I feel like
so.
I did. But if I didn't, basically there's a fantasy draft thing for Double Dash. I'm on a team trying to get points for my team.
Nice.
By doing, there's a couple tracks that improvements in time trials count towards every couple of weeks, aka a season. Actually, this season it's going to be DK Mountain and Mushroom City. Mm-hmm. So we're going to try to improve those. But yeah, it's been pretty motivating for me to actually come back to the game and improve some stuff. I finally got a 108 on Peach Beach. I uploaded that to my YouTube channel, which is pretty pog. I tried to improve it more because, like, if I saved literally one more frame, like, one frame in that game is 16 milliseconds because it's 60 FPS. If I saved one more frame, I could have gotten, like, 6 more points easy, but I couldn't quite do it, unfortunately.
Rip.
But it is what it is. So yeah, Double Dash going on. Also, still making slow and steady progress on the video idea I was talking about a couple weeks back. where I tweeted out like, oh yeah, I'm making a video, guys, but it's kind of different than I'm used to doing because it's more of an analysis versus a history type video, or even like an explanation video. I think it's until recently I was very iffy on if it's even like going to turn out well, but I think with what I have right now, I think it's mostly done. It's probably going to be like a 15-ish minute video when it's all said and done, but it's the script making process has been kind of tough, trying to like think of all the ideas I want to fit in there, and like all my takes I give in it, because like it's not like super factual like my previous videos where I simply list off even in like my double dash time trials rankings explained video, I'm simply listing off here's where the standards came from and here's what they are and do this and here's the website. But this video, it's more like, well, people think this way about this because this, and it's more abstract, but it's kind of fun to work on. So,
this video is just filled with lies. Just lies.
Basically, it's a video you don't want to take at face value. It's all just opinions and shit. Well, okay, I will admit there is some like psychology that I learned from watching random YouTube videos put in there as well.
Nice.
I that's my one. If I had a bibliography, my one source would be random YouTube videos.
Healthy gamer GG.
Not even him, just like fucking Veritasium and shit. Just like Vsauce type stuff. You ever watch Vsauce?
I started watching a video that was just like how many holes are in the human body.
Dude, he has some good videos, and he's also from Kansas. So shout out to Michael Vsauce.
I don't know. I started watching that. I was just like, I don't know.
Actually, you know what? Fuck it. For those who, even if you listen to this episode this long, I will reward you with what the topic of this video I've been going on about is. Basically, it's just a video about why speedrunners hate their runs.
Woo!
Because we've all seen it. If you've ever watched speedruns, especially when they're live, you're watching a runner and they're just going on about, oh, this run sucks, or I lost so much time, or even when they do PB, they'll be like, yeah, I don't know, I'm not very good, this run sucks, stuff like that. And I'm just explaining the reasons why people do that, and also some reasons why I believe they do that as a person who speedruns myself. So it's pretty sick.
Sometimes it's literally confusing how you're on such a good run when you know you're playing like such shit.
Yeah, I never even thought of that. That's the thing that happens too.
There have been runs where I'm just like, I am 50 seconds ahead, and I swear to God, I am fucking up literally everything. And I don't get that
too often, but maybe that's just from you sort of autopiloting.
I don't know.
You know, it actually would be like a good video to collaborate on, but you know what? I'm going about it solo because that's how I roll, yo. Like I go to the gym solo. We can relate everything to everything if we try hard enough.
Subway.
Eat fresh.
Yeah, like runs. Like your runs that are fresh. Yeah.
And then one final thing. I guess I'm done talking about that script. I don't know if I'm actually done. I feel like I wrote the conclusion like yesterday, but I got to go back through the whole script and like really revise some stuff because it's sort of wishy-washy and I don't know, but I'm feeling better about it now than I have in the past month at least.
I'm trying to crest my mentality, like crest that hill of my mentality where it's like I get to parts of the run and I'm just like, this is a good run, you know? Like sometimes my best run of the week last week, I've been streaming 96 Shines. I did a stream every day this past week.
And you actually got a 96 Shines PB recently.
I did. I think it was Monday. I could be wrong. It was on the 14th, whatever. Tuesday. And since I got a PB that day, but like since then, the 3 days, my mentality immediately hits like rock bottom the next day, where it's like, now that you PB'd, even though there's no like you're not practicing more, there's no precedent saying that you should automatically be this good forever now, you expect it. Like there's part of your brain that expects you to play as good as possible now.
Interesting.
And,
See, I have the opposite thing happen to me. Like,
really?
when I'm grinding a full game run like I used to do, but now I'm washed up and don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I'll have a thing where like if I recently PB'd in say 120 shines, I'll have like a window of time, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks, where I don't really care if I don't PB because I PB'd recently, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like, okay, well I just PB'd, so I'm not really due for a PB for a while now, right? I think it was the opposite way as you.
That makes sense, but like consistently, and history repeats itself. And I've said that a few times over the past few days, where it's just like whenever I PB, the next day I hit rock bottom because I like obviously just played not as good as my PB, or like not obviously, but I just
because
don't
for some
PB
reason
again.
in your head you're like, well, if I played this good yesterday, I should be better today.
Exactly, and like
But
I know
not
it's
realistic
happening.
at all.
Like I know my brain is doing that, and I know what it's an issue, but I still do it, and so inevitably and when I say history repeats itself, it means I hit rock bottom, my mentality hits rock bottom, obviously, and then I just quit for 2 weeks. So it's like I PB, I hit rock bottom, and then I quit for 2 weeks, and then maybe come back for a run or whatever, like whatever I end up doing. But
See,
I've been trying not to do that.
again, I'm the exact opposite. I'll be like, all right, well, it's been a week since my PB, but I'm chilling. Like I've showed my stuff. I PB'd recently. There's no pressure right now. I can just sort of like throw some runs and be like, hey, I just PB'd. Doesn't really matter. It's cool.
I wish I was more like that, but lately
But
I've been
on that same token, when it's been like months since I PB'd, I sort of get impatient. Like, okay, I deserve a PB now. Come on, where's that PB at? So it's like the exact opposite effect for me.
That's like my any percent, where it's just like, it's been since like last September, dude. You should be able to PB, but like 96 cents.
It's your brain lies to you in so many ways.
It's tough, but yeah, I've been doing runs. I stuck through it though. Like the day after my PB, I wasn't there. Like I couldn't do it, even though I was having the same runs I was having the day before, or even maybe better, but like not quite PB. I was getting frustrated with it, or I always do. And it's like Sapphire was telling me in my chat. Like I was on a 234 run the other day, and I was not happy with it. Even though my PB is 233 and the world record's 231, like 2 hours 31, 2 hours 33. I was on a 2 hour 34 run, and my best run that week, other than my PB, was like 236. And it's just like it's good in comparison to that, or comparison to everything. But like the fact that I had just PB'd, my mentality is such garbage that I like even like the smallest mistake not would frustrate me, but like it would just erode it. My comparison, my metaphor, whenever I'm like angry with a run, or like I don't know, frustrated. It's not even frustration. It's just kind of like I don't know how to describe it. But my metaphor is that my brain's on fire, where it's just like I'm not letting my emotions show or anything like that. I'm not like throwing my controller or anything, but it's just like inside there is something bubbling up, and it's just like gross.
Yeah,
you know,
that's especially with longer categories. Like in 120, when months would go on without a PB, it's torture because you know you can do it, but then you just throw run after run to like a new dumb thing each time, and it just gets so annoying. Like,
yeah,
a lot can happen in 3 hours.
But the good thing after my PB and stuff is that I stuck with it. Like my mentality the next day was so good. After like PB, then bad mentality. My mentality the third day was like, starting out it was bad still, but then it was just like I stuck with it, and it was good by the end. I finished a run that day. Yesterday's runs weren't good, but like my brain is still happy, and we're hanging out. But it's been nice getting back to 96 shines. I can definitely save a lot more time, but it just I like no resets, and going through the run as many times as I have, I've realized that there's a shit ton of time save. I just need to like play well, you know. And
Well, really?
yeah, playing well is hard though. Especially,
It really
like,
is. Like,
well, we say long categories. When you say long categories, it's not all a marathon. Like it is a marathon, but it's not all due to like stupid mistakes. You're going to lose time, but also there are random levels where it's just like you're just gonna you think of King Boo and PD and like in Super Mario Sunshine specifically, you're gonna lose time to the RNG levels maybe or for sure or whatever. But there are random levels in the categories that like you used to do and I do right now, where it's just like some levels you're just gonna lose time.
oh,
And,
especially in 120.
yeah, like baskets or
Bluebirds.
yeah, just those inclusion. Like sure, there's less in 96 shines, but like pin 100s. You know, you're just gonna like maybe your rockets aren't gonna be shot right at pin 8. Or maybe you're not going to get the hover slide at the start of certain levels, and then all the cycles are off.
Or maybe just all the Plungellos and Gelato 2 are in bad spots.
Dude, literally, my PB lost half a minute to Plungellos.
Okay, I don't see why you like that mission so much.
It's so dumb.
That mission, you can lose so much time there for no reason.
It was one. I also misplayed it, but at the same time, I like got screwed on the second mirror. And I don't know, it's dumb. Like some things are just out of your control, and at the same time, like those mistakes don't make my brain go on fire. You know, those don't light my brain on fire. It's just like it. I understood when we had Cheese on the podcast, and he told the Simply story, where just like the no reset thing that got him so emotional that he cried. On a run, I don't know if it was Wednesday or Thursday, but like one of those days after my PB, I understood it. Like I understood how you could get that emotional.
Yep.
And like because I like to finish no resets. Every time I stream, I like to finish a run each day. I didn't finish one yesterday, but whatever. Like I'm not gonna hold myself to it every single day, or sometimes I'm just going to be like, you know what, I'm done. It's fine, but I'd like to finish a run every day. And I've been doing pretty well with it. But, like, I did end up finishing a run that was like a 2:37, and it's not that bad. Like, I've had worse runs in the past 2 weeks, but it's just like I understood it. I understood getting that emotional.
Actually, one of the minor points I bring up in the video I'm working on is that, like, the longer you run a game, the more you get numb to, like, the high that you get from good execution in the game, combined with the more runs you do, the more it compounds of like you'll mess up the same thing like more and more, and the more you do it, the more you just get annoyed at how like, how do I keep messing this up? I practice it so much, and I play this game so much, and I still every now and then mess this up, and it just gets more annoying.
Yep.
And whether you like to admit it or not, it happens to everyone. So. But you just gotta keep your chin up and just accept that mistakes will happen and run that long.
I don't feel the execution thing. Like whenever I have something, well, I don't know, any percent is any percent. But whenever I have a really good hundo or like 100 coin shine or something that is in 96 shines, when it's really well executed, I feel like I'll pop off sometimes. Like in my chair, I'm like, fuck yeah. I was sick.
Maybe that's true. I guess I'm more so referring to just like doing the basic movement in the game.
Maybe.
Because when you're starting out, you're like, oh, look at all these spin jumps I'm getting. But now it's like, spin jump is like falling off a log.
Well, maybe that, maybe I'm not arguing with the thought in general. I'm just, like, for any percent, I don't really give a shit. Like, Noki 3 is, we've recently improved that enough that whenever I do that well, it feels good. But, or like if I was as good as Luigi for as long as all of those guys have been, or Dide have been, if I was as good as those guys for as long as they've been good, maybe I would understand. Like if I play Noki 1, me Sided Williams, if I play Noki 1 really well, I'm like, fuck yeah, I did Noki 1 really well. But I would imagine that it would become the same numb thing if you get that really done really well every single time. Like, I don't know, like what are one of those shines that I do really well every time? I can't think of them.
See,
but like
what I'm thinking is that, like, for you, even though you're a really experienced player, obviously, you're still like haven't met your potential movement wise on a lot of levels, like Noki 1 and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're still like getting to that point where it's like, okay, hell yeah, I'm doing this better than I used to do. But eventually you get to a point where like you're pretty much like at the peak of what you can do in the game. And then it's like, well, there's nowhere to go from here, and all I can hope for is not messing up. So,
or like the peak of what your strats can do. Like
like the peak of what you can ever hope to pull off in a run.
Yeah.
And then like you get to that point, and then you just like the mistakes build up over time, and it just gets more sort of like, okay, when am I going to stop making these mistakes?
That makes sense. Like I don't pop off. Like I don't do the best Noki 6 in the world, but whenever I do my Noki 6 as well as it can happen, or as well as I can do, I'm just like, yeah, okay, good. Like I don't pop off for it or anything like that. I just kind of go like, yep, okay.
Whereas like when you first learn Green Cycle and you get it, you're like, holy shit.
I don't even do Green Cycle.
You don't do Green Cycle?
No.
Bruh, what year are you living in?
I do urinal mic strats.
Even I do Green Cycle, and I'm a shrub.
I do I do the strats I've been doing for 6 years that I made well, I guess 5 years.
I am shocked you still do Blue Cycle after all this time.
I tried to learn, dude. I have like this really bad habit, and maybe I'll try to quell this habit. But I had this really bad habit of learning a strat, and then like grinding it and getting it pretty good and doing it in ILs, and then ending up getting frustrated with the game, or just like not playing the game for 2.5 weeks or a month or whatever, and then coming back and being like, well, I can't do this strat now.
You're like, fuck, how do we do this again?
yeah. Well, I've done it in runs, like with Pianta 6. I recently learned Pianta 6 shit, and I improved my PB to a 215, I think.
Or that's what I have.
And
what's your decimal?
I improved it a little bit, and I was just like, fuck yeah. And then I took a break for a month, and I'm just like, okay, well, I could try to do this shit, but really hard, and I haven't practiced it.
Well, in Pianta 6, there's no stakes. Like, you're not going to die for messing up something.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I feel like you may as well try to do what you do.
I still try the stuff, like, even in Pinna 5, where, you know, the IL that I did in March, that was really good. I don't know. But like I ground the shit out of Pinna 5 in March, and I did it a couple times in runs, and it was kind of sick to do it in runs, and every now and then I still go like, yeah, I can do that, and then I try it, I'm just like, well, that was probably a bad idea to try to do that. and then I just die. But like sometimes I have a really good mentality about it, and sometimes I don't go for it because I know that if I messed it up, it would be bad. Like the doing momentum spin jump at the end of Serena 4. Sometimes I'm like, I know my brain won't be able to handle a fuck up, so I'll just...
Yeah, sometimes there's random things like even JJ, who's a god at the game, which, by the way, we'll talk about the bingo in a second.
Oh, yeah.
JJ wouldn't go for momentum spin at the end of Serena 2 for a while.
Yep.
And he's like top level player, like should obviously do that. So if you get into like a mental funk, and probably, honestly for me, when I was playing Sunshine recently, I probably should have stopped going for the hardcore cube momentum strat in Bianco 6. Yeah. Because for some reason I was like fucking that up half the time for no reason. When like years before that I was getting it just fine. But sometimes you just like your mind just gets into a funk about a certain strat.
Yeah.
And when it's a strat that if you mess it up it kills you, then it kind of sucks. So
I think it's so funny. Well, I like playing 96 shines because there's just more shines to do. But like if you look at my any percent portion of my 96 shines, like you're talking about the momentum spin on the block in Bianco 6, Green Cycle in Noki 6, and I'm sitting there going like, yeah, I don't do any of that. I just don't.
Learn Green Cycle.
No.
Dude, I was literally you until I learned it, and I was like, oh, it's not that bad.
I'm so no, I did learn it. I learned it, and then I got an IL with it, and I was like, oh, this isn't too bad. But like, and then I just haven't gone back to. I'm not a practice guy. I just
see the key thing that I learned, the thing that I was losing time on, that I didn't realize till I did a comparison to like a Galapagos IL, was I would lose so much time in the tightrope section. Like, I don't even do the most widely agreed upon intro fish tank exit strat. I sort of like do an older thing that's like not as widely used, but it's the same exact speed as what is more popular, like the Wilco thing people usually do. Same exact speed as that, but I would lose like so much time on the tightrope red ramp section that's where I was getting screwed over. But I learned how to do that section faster, and I was fine. So
Yeah.
you just gotta like sometimes doing comparison video stuff is crucial for stuff like that.
I don't know. There's just something I appreciate with being able to autopilot my 80% at this point. And
yeah, but like think about how much you can push yourself if you like learn, if you treat 80% stuff like it's a new 96 shine specific level.
respecting any percent. Ugh, gross.
Hey man, every shine is of equal importance in that category.
Ugh, gross. Ugh.
Bianco hundreds isn't the most important shine. Fuck you.
Dude, I've been playing that level pretty well.
You are good at Bianco hundreds though, I will give you that. But yeah, you're gonna bingo against JJ in the next couple hours.
I in a half an hour, I'm gonna play.
Oh shit, it is in half an hour. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna play JJ.
We need to wrap this up soon. You need to warm up.
I have not turned on the game today. I don't.
Hey
I'm
man,
gonna
I have
lose.
faith in you. A Cathalon, he won his bingo match and didn't play the game since March.
Yeah.
And you've been playing the game like actively most days, doing full runs of all the shines. So like at least gameplay wise, you should be warm. Bingo knowledge wise, maybe warmer than JJ. Maybe.
I don't know, man.
Maybe
I
you
am
just gotta
not-
hope that like whatever is good is not something he's good at.
I'm not looking forward to this, but I will. Play
I have
it.
the utmost confidence in your invasion bingo strategy skills.
I am gonna go 0-2 in this tournament, and I'm going to be happy about it. But
I mean, hey, it's better to go in with low expectations and than high expectations and be wrong, right?
I'm so fine with losing this match. You don't know how fine I am with losing this match.
Well, hey, I believe in you.
What I was gonna say about piloting any percent is that, like, you can see the difference. Like, if you watched a stream of mine where I play 96 shines through, like, all the way through, which probably every stream I do. Well, most streams I do. And, like, for the first hour and a half, I'm just talking the entire time. And, like, sometimes to a fault, where it's just like I stop. Like, it's more likely an earlier, like, well, once I do multiple attempts in a stream, sometimes I'll quiet down and maybe start talking about the game or some shit, because
Yep.
I don't know. Like, how can you talk forever?
I think that's why I suck at early game, because I always autopilot early game and then I keep fucking up stuff in early game.
I don't know. Maybe you should look at that. But
I don't play the game anymore right now. So.
you should play the game again. And
I don't know if I will. I don't want to say I retired, but I'm honestly like,
you should do a twit longer announcement.
I haven't even had like an inkling of motivation to play Sunshine for some reason.
You should post a paste bin about how you're retired now. And
I know as soon as, maybe I should do that, because I know as soon as you announce something, you always go back on your word. The only way to quit something is to not announce something at all. So it's looking kind of bad for me right now.
yeah.
But Double Dash is fun at least. So
yeah.
there's that.
I've been playing a little bit of Double Dash.
Oh yeah, you got some expert times. That's dope.
I got a few expert times.
I'm my overall goal in Double Dash, like long-term goal, if I don't really break through like the current level I'm at, which I really can't guarantee, I have to get more consistent at mini turbos, which is really tough.
Yeah.
But assuming I don't really like get much better than I am right now, my main goal is just to like stay in the top 100 as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like theoretically for my lifetime, because I'm ranked 97 right now, and where I am in rankings, if I just like cut a couple dozen more ranks on like any track, I'll be like in the mid to low 90s in rank.
Okay.
So if I get to like maybe 80th place or so, I'm pretty much chilling there, because there would have to be 20 new people to bot me like in the next few years for me to not be in top 100 anymore. But I think like top 100's cool, because on the Mario Kart website, you appear on the on the rankings page without having to like check a box to say show times outside of top 100.
Mm.
So just being on that page for life would be dope if I could just like sort of stay
that's
there.
That's always my goal for things. Like we were talking yesterday about
being on a page without having to like scroll down.
Yeah, I had to improve my IL leaderboard score sheet in Super Mario Sunshine by like, I don't know, 200 points in order for me to not be able or not have to scroll down in order to see my name. Yeah, and that was my only goal. Like I do have world records, but they're mostly levels that nobody plays. So
they're not worth as many points.
They're definitely not worth as many points. So I had to play some Shadow Marios in order for that to work. But I got my points. But like my point about the 96 Shines thing is that like for the first hour and a half I play and I'm just talking the entire time, and then once Delfino Shines either start to happen or like end, when I'm starting to play Gelato, I'm like super focused. Like I'm way more focused because now I'm actually playing levels that I either care about or like I don't know. It might be care. I don't really know.
I feel like it's impossible to reach that level of focus in early game. Because like there's no sense of stakes when you're starting a runoff. It's like hard to force yourself to be like, okay, I'm gonna try to go ham here in this Bianco 3. Like, you know, it's just so hard to force yourself to do that. But I feel like that's where like Ouija and people are like so strong is they'll just go ham no matter what the level is. Like they just force themselves to.
Yeah.
And that's why they're so good. That's why they're top players.
Dude, they can get like 1x times in Bianco 2. I've never even tried the spin jump, the early stored spin jump on the windmill wall
1x,
kicks.
try like 10-13.
Yeah, I don't.
Although I use auto splitter, so it's like different for me, but yeah.
Yeah, I just get 1020s. I'm fine with my 1020s.
Actually, I'm pretty sure before I soft retired, I actually managed to get I think I got a sub 1020 auto splitter, maybe close to it at least. I don't know. You got to subtract 3.5 seconds.
I'm not willing to YOLO the start. I like hacked file is still a thing that I could do, but I haven't set it up. I'm not.
Oh, do you do Peach file?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm a fan of Peach file, to be honest.
I like finishing no resets. So like, why not just watch the cutscene at the start? Who cares?
Honestly, like in non-any percent, like in 120, unless you're for some reason heavily resetting 120, I don't see the need for hacked file and stuff. But I guess it saves a little bit of time.
See, I would like it in my back pocket just in case, because sometimes you just screw up GBS. I don't know. Sometimes you get like to GBS or like really bad PD 3 times in a row, and you're just like, can I just restart? Like,
or in 120, you get like really bad pin of 2 coins over and over again.
Yeah,
that always sucks.
I don't know. I feel like every day I'm fine with watching the cutscene, but I like sometimes I'm like I would prefer not to watch the cutscene right now.
Yeah,
and I just get to the
you know what, I get that too, but.
Yeah,
it's in the past for me now. But should we wrap this up so you can practice for your bingo?
I'm not going to practice for my bingo, but yeah, we can wrap it up.
Hey man, you have like 10 minutes to practice. Come on.
What was the one thing?
One more thing for me while you're thinking of that. Yeah, sure. I haven't gotten Origami King, the new Paper Mario yet. I've been sort of like weighing it out, seeing what the general consensus was, because Paper Mario hasn't had the best track record in recent years, as I'm sure you're aware.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been just sort of reading Twitter opinions on it, and actually I've been surprised to see like people, for the most part, seem to be enjoying it. Like it's not like a life-changing game or anything, but they're like, yeah, it's pretty fun. So that also sort of worries me, because it could be along the lines of a Luigi's Mansion 3. Where it's like, yeah, it's an alright game, but I'm just going to play it once and never touch it again. So I essentially just blew $60 on like a 10-hour experience.
Yep.
So I'm afraid that's going to happen to me. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I haven't played a Paper Mario game since Thousand Year Door, so maybe it's worth trying one out finally.
Mm-hmm. And like the same thing, I feel like Luigi's Mansion 3 is a good example of everybody fucking blowing hot air up its ass, where it's just like, oh, it's really good, and you're just sitting there going like, yeah, it's fine.
It's
like,
all right. It's fine. It's not like anything like I'd play again though.
Yeah, like when it came out, everybody was just like, oh, this is so good. This is such a good game, and I'm sitting there going like, no.
Dude, I'm pretty easygoing on games, and when I was playing through that game, I was like almost falling asleep sometimes. It's just like going through the motions, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
oh, go over here, try to suck up shit to find money and shit. Go to the next area.
I feel like a lot of people that I guess not listen to now, but that like the people that I hear the opinion of Luigi's Mansion 3 or some other games, it's just like, oh yeah, I played it once and it was good. But I'm sitting there going like, if I'm gonna spend $90 or not $90, I'm not
$100.
Canadian
Because Canada's really going. Their money's going somewhere.
If I'm gonna spend enough money on a new game, or as much money a new game is,
yeah,
I'm gonna play it multiple times, or I would like to play it multiple times. You know,
yeah,
I'm not gonna
I feel like a
10 hours.
$60 game should be a game that has good replay value.
Like I know it's not the standard you should go by, but Tetris 99, the free game, I've put, I don't know, 400 hours in, maybe a little bit more than that, and like it's good for obviously for a free game, but Luigi's Mansion 3, I bought for $80 Canadian, and I played it once. I complained about it on the podcast, and we've complained about it every other podcast since. And maybe, I don't know if that's true, but
So we complain about it sometimes.
Let's complain about Luigi's Mansion more. But I don't know, like getting the jewels wasn't satisfying. But every time anybody talks about Luigi's Mansion 3 still, is just like, oh yeah, it was good. It's like, no, it was whatever. It was passable.
It was just, yeah, it passes as a game.
Yeah, it was a game
It was
existed. It like nobody's talking about Luigi's Mansion now, and the only people that are talking about Luigi's Mansion 3 right now are us complaining about it.
Even the speedrunners have kind of stopped, it seems like.
Yeah.
As far as I know, maybe the scene's popping and we're just not seeing it. But
we're not saying that every game that was released last October or like over the 9 months since the game has come out, maybe things dwindle or whatever. Like you don't hear as much about Valorant now, but
yeah,
Valorant's still like active for sure. It's not dead, obviously, because it's a new game.
It's kind of a weird comparison, but yeah, I kind of see what you're saying.
But like, we're still talking about Super Mario Sunshine.
We're a little biased, but yes, that's true.
But like, also there was replay value in that game. We found the replay value. You know, in Luigi's Mansion 3, even after playing it one time, like I see replay value. I've been since starting Super Mario Sunshine.
I feel like I've opened up a whole new can of worms. I'm trying to wrap this up.
Since starting Super Mario Sunshine, we have always complained about Galaxy. You know, we don't play a lot of Galaxy or whatever. I played Galaxy and was bored to tears with the casual playthrough, replayed it as a speedrun, had a lot of fun, had plans to do more runs. I saw the replay value, you know? I played through Luigi's Mansion 3, got some of the jewels. I'm a completionist in a lot of cases where I'm just like Dead Space 2, Sunshine, I don't know, fucking other games. What other games have
Breath of the Wild attempting to get all the Korok seeds.
I'm fucking doing Korok seeds and shit. But I'm sitting here with Luigi's Mansion 3 and I'm just like, I have really, like, I got the one scripted boo and I have zero. I had zero. I still have zero. I'm
actually,
just
yeah, I only got
now.
one as well.
Yeah, like we have no intentions or had no intentions and still have no intentions to ever boot up that game again. You know how easy it is to turn on another Switch game? You turn on your Switch, like, I don't know if you downloaded it, but I have it on my system. Like, I can just go to the home menu, scroll to the right, and there's Luigi's Mansion 3. You know what I'm not going to do? That.
Yeah.
And
tell them.
Like, there are so many games. Like, I'm more willing to turn on Cedars. The 14-cent.
Okay, Cedars actually looks pretty interesting.
Stupid game. Yeah. In comparison to Luigi's Mansion 3,
14-cent game versus $60 game.
Yeah. Exactly. But it's just like, oh, so dumb. I don't know. I'm just still mad that I spent $70 on that game.
Yeah, bottom line is I'm afraid that's gonna happen with the new Paper Mario for me, but I might just get it anyway so I can talk about it on a podcast.
Yeah.
And just to play it and then be like, hey, my worry was exactly right. I played it once and don't want to play it again.
Hey, do you want to both get Origami King and just see how it goes and just complain about it next podcast?
Oh, you're not gonna play it. What are you talking about?
I bought Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah, but you actually like Luigi's Mansion from 1.
Yeah, but I've never played it.
You're not a Paper Mario fan.
I looked at the Origami King thing. It had a trailer, and I was just like, oh, it comes out on my birthday.
You should play the 1,000-Year Door.
Yeah, that sounds lame. Anyways, it's not a new game.
We're gonna wrap this up.
Like, it's not hip. Anyway, you can wrap it up if you like.
1,000-Year Door is super hip. What do you mean?
Well, no, like the Origami King review, you know?
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, what do you guys think about the Origami King? I've seen random reviews on Twitter being like, oh, I think it's the most amazing. Oh, I think it's okay. Oh, I think the battle system is it's kind of gimmicky. It's like, oh, I haven't seen anything outright bad.
Yeah, I've only seen like some minor complaints.
I've seen anywhere between, the battle system's gimmicky, but the story's really good. To, this is the best game I've ever played in my life. But like, you can't trust those because those are the Luigi's Mansion. Those are the Luigi's Mansion 3 kids.
Oh yeah, I was that kid for Odyssey as well. When Odyssey was new, I was so hype about it, and now I'm just sort of like, yeah, it was pretty good.
I can't even remember the last game I was like that for, where it's just like, oh, it's the best thing ever, but it was actually not the best thing ever. I can't remember.
On that note, Spotify, Google Play, those exist, and YouTube is probably what you're watching this on anyway. Anyway, I've been Average Trey. Oh my god.
I'm Sid. Watch Reboot.
Watch Reboot. I've never seen it, but I hear someone who recommends it.
Trey's gonna watch episode 1.
I can't guarantee that. Bye.
He's gonna do it. Bye.